The story begins with Beast hunting down a mutant known as Beak. When captured, Beast gives him some reassurance but stays firm on developing the mutant gift. He then goes on to introduce Beak to all the other mutants alike, including ones like Glob Herman. On the flip side, a bunch of locals are rioting for mutants to not exist, and on the first day of school, the principal lays out the rules and conditions of the school, assuring that the education is useful, and also introduces Beast as the doctor for the school after he was previously homesick. In the first class, rather than learning, they just mess around with their mutant abilities. Quentin Choir then requests Slick and Tattoo to leave him alone, but they just keep bringing up the fact that the best mutant designer has passed away, which Quentin takes the time to fully process. But as they were walking away, Quentin was more focused on the reasoning why Tattoo likes Slick, with Glob rather wishing to be like him, and continuously glazes him while admiring his charisma. When heading outside, they stumble upon a newspaper from the Daily Bugle reporting about the day Quentin was born. When reflecting on the news, another mutant named Spike spawns out of nowhere, hoping to eavesdrop on everything. They eventually make it to Slick and Tattoo, where they are seen celebrating in memory of Jumbo Carnation. Glob flirts with Tattoo while Quentin confronts Slick for the reasoning behind the dumb celebration. But Slick questions the undertone, which Quentin doesn't take lightly and loses his temper, before disrespecting Slick with an insult in front of everyone, leaving Glob shocked as well as Tattoo. Unfortunately, not even within 24 hours, Quentin was reported to the principal's office and put on a strict diet to keep him under surveillance. With everyone's fake behaviors, he sinks into depression, resulting to him smoking to cure the pain. With no company and just nothing to do, he heads to a local barbershop across the street and sits down as he's asked for what he wants. So Quentin requests that he wants the style that's on the piece of paper. However, back at the school, there is also a special class where students also learn, but just at a slower pace. And the teacher of this class is known as Zorn, who also wishes to learn from the students. But luckily, today was field trip day and they had lots of hiking ahead of them. But the other class is back at the dorms, where they all are trying on matching outfits. Afterwards, Quentin offers some of the mutant drug kick, which the others agree to try. When asked what it's like, she compares it to like breathing the air of the future. Later that night, the rioters who are anti-mutant are walking before being stopped by a group nearby, which was Glob Herman and his crew, other known as Omega Gang. One of the rioters challenges Quentin, but now in the form of Kid Omega, he isn't going for it and gives them a powerful kick before they could even attack, and leaves the rioters on the floor and defeated before casually walking away as if nothing happened. The next morning at the school, Professor X makes an announcement about the latest attack, noting that the attackers were wearing striped shirts, and furthermore goes on to ban certain clothing items. But little did anybody know one of the attackers was right there playing along. When back in their uniforms, they stopped to get a few tattoos at the local tattoo shop, officially forming the alliance of the new X-Men. They then go on to torture more of the anti-mutants who rioted against existing mutants. As Professor X is walking into his office, he's ambushed by the Omega Gang mutants, with Glob even mocking him, further explaining how Xavier is the one who told them to think outside the box, so they did exactly just that. They then come to the conclusion that the one thing they haven't tried was exterminating the whole human race. That next day, when a meeting was supposed to take place, everyone was outside and ready, but unfortunately, the school was being hijacked by Glob and the others, and now with everyone's divided attention, plans to tear down everything created and replace it, also revealing the helmet they made was just a blueprint from Magneto's helmet found on the internet. But neither of that stops them from their plan, and the mutants hold Xavier hostage in retaliation of Jumbo Carnation. Meanwhile, the locals and staffs outside lose patience and begin to become enraged. Quentin then ignites Glob Herman with fire, sending him out the window as a living weapon, which caused a little fire in the middle of large huddles of crowds, and everything just gets more tense with innocent humans being seized. Professor X tries to reason with the mutants, but Quentin rather focuses on the 16 million mutants who were once killed but nobody cared. And as soon as Xavier tried to respond, his mouth was sealed back up with tape before they all walk away from the scene. On the way out, Wolverine calls them out, but they all walk past him. And of course, it has only gotten worse and more chaotic outside. Cyclops tries to break everything up and orders the mutants to put down the weapons, but Quentin doesn't comply, resulting in him being blasted by Cyclops' Cyclops' laser eyes, and when they pledge the idea of Jumbo Carnation's Cyclops emphasizes not tolerating killers. But Beast finally reveals it wasn't humans that killed him, but rather the mutant drug. However, Slick and Tattoo believes that's a part of Xavier's lies. And without surprise, Glob Herman is still on fire, casually running down the street as the Inhuman Torch, using himself as a weapon in order to take out the humans. But now, with Professor X back in the picture, all of Quentin's plans and dreams are shattered, and Xavier explains the mutant drugs may be what's taking over the minds of the mutant race, and suddenly summons the 5-in-1, which comes to the rescue of Xavier and obliterates the mutants, leaving Quentin to lay there in extreme discomfort, and reveals he didn't plan to hurt anyone. But it was too late, as numerous people were already hurt by then. In the meantime, Glob is flying down the road full speed, and even left a family stranded without a car. With Beast and other staff in pursuit behind him, Cyclops decides to use his laser to stop Glob. He then goes on to pour loads of what looks to be sand on Glob to keep him still, while at the same time making jokes. With the roles now reversed and Kid Omega being in Professor X's captivity, this allows him to put Quentin through a secondary mutation due to the uses of the mutant drug, Kick. But no matter how hard Xavier tried, Kid Omega passed away, leaving Professor X very sad for the time being. And in the end, Xavier hosted a meeting to announce the death of Quentin, as well as an award for the outstanding student.